How is CCP persecuting Falun Gong? The Chinese Communist Party, CCP, has been persecuting Falun Gong through brutal and systematic means since 1999, when the regime officially banned the practice. This persecution is one of the most severe human rights abuses of modern times. Here are the primary methods the CCP employs to persecute Falun Gong practitioners. 1. Propaganda and demonization. The CCP launched a massive state-run propaganda campaign to demonize Falun Gong, falsely labeling it a cult and spreading misinformation. State-controlled media outlets flood the public with fabricated stories to incite hatred, justify the persecution, and isolate practitioners from society. 2. Arbitrary arrests and detentions. Practicing Falun Gong, or even possessing Falun Gong materials, can lead to arbitrary arrest and imprisonment without due process. Police conduct mass roundups, particularly before politically sensitive events, detaining practitioners for indefinite periods. 3. Torture and forced labor. Detained Falun Gong practitioners are subjected to brutal torture to force them to renounce their beliefs. Common methods include beatings, sleep deprivation, electric shocks, solitary confinement, waterboarding, forced feeding. Many practitioners are sent to forced labor, camps to produce goods under inhumane conditions, often for export. 4. Brainwashing and re-education. The CCP operates transformation centers where practitioners are subjected to intense brainwashing sessions. They are forced to watch propaganda videos, chant slogans, and denounce Falun Gong under psychological pressure and threat of violence. Those who refuse face further torture or imprisonment. 5. Surveillance and monitoring. Practitioners are placed under constant surveillance by local authorities, neighbors, or workplace officials. The CCP uses advanced technology, such as facial recognition systems and internet censorship, to monitor and track practitioners' activities. 6. Forced organ harvesting. Independent investigations have uncovered that detained Falun Gong practitioners are victims of forced organ harvesting. Practitioners are medically tested in prisons or labor camps, and their organs, such as kidneys, hearts, and livers, are removed to supply China's lucrative organ transplant industry. 7. Economic and social suppression. Practitioners lose jobs, pensions, and housing as a punishment for their beliefs. Employers are pressured to fire workers who refuse to renounce Falun Gong. Children of Falun Gong practitioners are denied access to education or face discrimination. Families are torn apart as the CCP pressures relatives to coerce their loved ones into abandoning the practice. 8. Harassment and persecution abroad. The CCP harasses Falun Gong practitioners outside China through intimidation, cyber attacks, and smear campaigns. Chinese embassies pressure foreign governments, businesses, and media to limit support for Falun Gong or Shen Yunnan, which is produced by practitioners. 9. Deaths in custody. Thousands of Falun Gong practitioners have reportedly died from torture, abuse, or neglect while in detention. Many of these cases are never fully investigated or acknowledged by the CCP. 10. Suppression of information. The CCP heavily censors the internet, bans Falun Gong-related materials, and blocks websites that provide information about the persecution. Anyone caught sharing Falun Gong literature or spreading information about the CCP's abuses faces severe punishment. The CCP's persecution of Falun Gong reflects its fear of losing ideological control and its intolerance toward any group that promotes independent thought or spiritual freedom. Despite over 2 decades of relentless suppression, Falun Gong practitioners have continued to peacefully resist, raising global awareness about these human rights atrocities.